Welcome and thank you for joining the webinar. I'm Pete Reed, Vice President of Partner Strategy for ServiceSource, and today I'm pleased to give you an overview of our newest offering, Salesforce Org Health Management. But first, a little about ServiceSource. ServiceSource brings the world's greatest brands closer to their customers through digitally enabled solutions and data-driven insights that personalize and power the moments that matter. Backed by 20 years of experience, a robust global footprint, and a powerful suite of solutions, we enhance every touchpoint along the customer journey experience to deliver impactful revenue growth for global market leaders. Today, the most respected names in B2B trust ServiceSource to deliver a breadth of solutions like inside sales, customer success, revenue retention, and now Salesforce Org Health Management. The idea for Salesforce Org Health Management came from multiple conversations with many of our customers and prospects, where they asked for help with the ongoing management and maintenance of their Salesforce orgs, either following an implementation or to manage organic growth over multiple years. They also asked for help with things like small changes to configuration and automation, such as workflow rules, formula fields, assignment rules, object creation and report creation, as well as updates to Apex code and Visualforce pages. So essentially, declarative configuration and programmatic solutions. They also needed help with cleansing and enriching their data to increase the level of trust and value for their users in Salesforce. And they also wanted to better understand usage and feature utilization to drive adoption and results. So, we created a truly holistic offering to address all of these areas. The solution is Salesforce Org Health Management, a valuable set of services giving customers the opportunity to utilize exactly what they need to keep their Salesforce orgs running smoothly. Customers are able to leverage any combination of these services based on their requirements and the Salesforce team that they have in place. These services are all delivered as an annual subscription for resources that engage either full-time, half-time, or as a block of hours per month. ServiceSource provides a dedicated, certified Salesforce professional to customers, and this individual, over time, becomes more and more effective as they learn the customer's Salesforce org, as well as their processes and their business. It's also important to note that these services are focused around org health, management, and maintenance. So if there's a larger project or customization that needs to be built, and that's something that we consider taking more than 8 days to gather requirements, design, build, test, and deploy, then we'll recommend one of our consulting partners to scope and deliver these as part of a project. Now let's dive into the details. So the bottom level of the org health management pyramid is org maintenance as a service. And this really includes system audits, org health, and management. This part of the service, we provide proactive user administration, org management, issue identification, and optimization opportunities for Salesforce orgs that drive user adoption and customer success. We deliver this service through a rigorous maintenance schedule developed after years of Salesforce project experience that includes best practices, which are delivered real-time, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually to optimize all areas of your Salesforce org. We've also created a Salesforce early warning system that includes utilization reports, audits, field tracking, and usage specifically designed to identify issues early and keep Salesforce orgs running smoothly. Some of the things that we deliver as part of this service, at the very top you can see we review objects, fields, and pick list values, and then document usage across groups and dependencies across systems. So when you think about usage, it's important to understand which groups or parts of the business are going to be impacted if part of the configuration changes. And with dependencies, you really need to know everything that will be affected given a small change. So a good example of this is a pick list value that might be used across 2 workflow rules, an Apex trigger that drives an integration. Maybe the pick list value is also a filter on a report, or maybe a formula field. So a small change could really potentially impact a lot of different things and break functionality in the Salesforce org. And it also impacts different parts of the business. So it's absolutely critical that customers understand the impact and know exactly how to approach the change. We also do things like updating delegation rules and escalation paths. So as people leave or as roles change, the rules are updated so there's no disruption to the business process or operations. And then we also manage and document custom settings, just to make sure that we always have the most up-to-date and recent changes. The next part of our offering is configuration as a service, and this revolves around administration, setup, and declarative customization. So this service includes responsive and tactical execution of configuration tasks across all of the declarative capabilities of the Salesforce platform. So a lot of times customers need help updating objects and fields or workflow rules, HTML email templates, search layouts, related lists to support requests from the business. And that's the core of this part of the service. We provide hands-on administration and user management, make sure that access and permissions are updated through roles and profiles, and basically customize the Salesforce application to meet the evolving business processes and requirements through automation, notification, alerts, and reports and dashboards. Here are some examples of what we do. Again, we can update page layouts, related lists, and record types as businesses and processes change. We can update HTML email templates, so when new fields are created, we can ensure that they're merged into the correct email template and shown properly. And then we also update reports and dashboards, again, to make sure that the business has the right intelligence and the right information to make decisions. So there's usually no shortage of these types of requests from the business. The next level is development as a service. This is very similar to configuration as a service, but instead of delivering declarative configuration, this part of the service delivers integrations and custom code maintenance, so dealing with the programmatic side of the house. Again, a good reminder here is that our services are focused around org health and maintenance. So although these folks have expertise programming APIs, Apex triggers, Visualforce, and Lightning Web Components, if there's a larger customization that needs to be built, or if something takes more than 8 days to gather requirements, design, build, test, and deploy, then we'll bring in one of our partners to do that. These are our geeks, so they know how to maintain and update highly performant, reusable, scalable, and reliable programmatic solutions. They also have a thorough understanding of the declarative capabilities of the platform. They understand where those end and where a programmatic solution might be appropriate. They have practical knowledge of Salesforce test-driven development, sandbox migration, deployment processes, and metadata-driven development. And they also have broad experience with integration architecture, middleware tools, and master data management. So here are some examples of what we might deliver as part of this service. So with the first one, right, maintaining and updating Visualforce pages, maybe you have Apex code that needs to be updated, or a field needs to be added to a Visualforce page. These folks are able to do that. They also do something really cool that we call standard functionality audits. So they'll look at each Salesforce release 3 times a year, and they basically review the features in the release, review the functionality, and see if there's feature parity with custom code or programmatic solutions that are already in place. And then they determine whether it makes sense to retire those programmatic solutions in lieu of a standard feature, thereby reducing a customer's code debt, simplifying their maintenance and upgrades, and future-proofing their application. A really valuable part of the service. They also have skills with integration and master data management, so they're able to troubleshoot integration errors between systems. So for example, if you're mastering your accountant contact data in an accounting system, it's crucial that the data is updated regularly and that the system of record rules are in place, so nobody's overriding or making changes that break either system. Next on the pyramid is data integrity as a service. So here we like you to think about data management and enrichment. Again, one of your most valuable assets is the customer data that you have in Salesforce. We want to make sure that that's clean, that it's effective and trusted. So the core of this part of the service is data integrity as a service. It's designed to ensure that all data going into Salesforce is the highest quality and that data housed in Salesforce is consistent, relevant, and up to date. So we'll have a look at ingoing either data imports or data integrations to make sure that those are all top notch. And then we'll also make sure that we're enhancing and cleansing the data while it's in Salesforce to keep it up to date. We also deliver data cleansing, standardization, and enrichment processes to increase the value and trustworthiness of data in the Salesforce application. We all know that poor data quality can erode users' confidence in the application and lead to challenges with adoption. We also provide data governance services that consist of recommendations to mitigate the risk of data loss from your Salesforce org. So make sure that the right people have access to the right data at the right time. So key parts of this service are duplication management. So we partner with best-in-class solutions to manage duplicate records, again, do cleansing and enrichment. We also review the challenges with data through data quality checks and recommend declarative configuration to enhance data integrity. So these are really low effort, basic changes that we can make, including changing the data type of a field, making a field required, or implementing a validation rule that really have a huge payoff in terms of data quality. We also make sure that the field level security and accessibility is as it should be. So we're limiting and mitigating someone's ability to export large amounts of data out of the Salesforce application. Essentially, we're making sure that the right people have access to view the data and do what they need to do to make sure it's the best quality. So next up is governance as a service. And this really evolves around center of excellence, design and documentation, and project management. So a good way to think about this is what we bring to governance and best practices to operationalize the management of your Salesforce implementation. So a lot of times, you've had a consulting company come in, a system integrator, they've done an awesome job delivering the project, and now you need to operationalize the management of your Salesforce org. This is exactly what we can help with. So a huge part of this is managing organic growth by documenting planned and ad hoc changes to Salesforce orgs, helping customers understand dependencies and impacts. We all know that small changes can have a far-reaching impact across a Salesforce org. We also provide stakeholders, so think kind of the business and IT, with formal processes to submit bugs and enhancements. So we really want to make sure that we receive the right information up front, we get enough detail to understand and prioritize the request. And then we gather decision makers during a weekly Center of Excellence org review meeting to prioritize and plan major and minor releases. We basically want to make sure that we're managing the request through the full development lifecycle, and that we're updating the original requester along the way regarding progress, and that changes in configuration and processes are properly documented. So components of this service are obviously establishing the center of excellence, right? So we bring in a recommended structure, participants, agenda, schedule, and outcomes to make sure it's set up correctly and that it has the greatest impact. And as the business processes evolve, these folks can also lead solution design sessions across process, data, and technology to meet business requirements. And they're also able to manage design reviews, testing execution, UAT, and deployment verifications. So making sure there's a solid testing cycle, that we have entry and exit criteria, and that whatever is rolled to production is exactly what the business needs. These folks really bring a solid functional skill set. So that's the stack. This is the full set of services. Again, it reflects what many Salesforce customers need help with: a holistic offering to drive success across maintenance, configuration, development, data integrity, and governance. I'll end with a few things that really stand out and make us unique. And it's important to remember that we've incorporated years of consulting and project delivery expertise and experience in developing these services. Basically, we're a pure play managed service provider. This is a new partner type from Salesforce, and we're one of the pilot companies delivering this service and helping to define it. We engage as a service on annual contracts to maintain and update Salesforce orgs to ensure long-term customer success. Salesforce Org Health is our expertise and our singular focus. So again, we're not trying to come in and identify large projects to build. Really, we want to make sure that customers' orgs are healthy and running smoothly. And lastly, our offering is mature and truly holistic. So we address org health, maintenance, configuration and setup, administration, customization, governance, data management, integrations, and programmatic solutions. And with all this in mind, our measure of success, we always ask ourselves, what can we do to ensure that Salesforce customers are successful and that their Salesforce orgs are healthy and running smoothly? If we're able to achieve that, then we've been successful. So what are the next steps? Well, we encourage you to, if you're a customer, to give us a ring or send us an email and schedule a scoping call. So here we basically answer your questions. We can provide more details around the service. And then we also gather details from you about your Salesforce orgs, processes, and governance. It's usually a 45-minute call. The easiest way to get these scheduled is to send us an email at salesforceohm@servicesource.com. And from there, we can make recommendations for areas where we can add value based on your requirements and the team that you already have in place. So with that, I invite you to visit our website and reach out if there's anything we can help with. Again, our email address is salesforceohm@servicesource.com. Thanks for your time today.